Hey everybody, welcome to First Aid Kit 101. My name is Miss Mady and I work at the East Shore Area Library. So today we're going to be talking about a first aid kit that you should keep in your car, your dorm room, apartment, whatever you may have. Now when you think of a little first aid kit, you may think of something like this. It says first aid kit, labor ready, just a little thing you keep in your glove compartment. It's got some Bandaids, alcohol wipe, some aspirin, a little gauze. Well, we're going to go into a little bit more in depth. It's great to have these, but we're going to talk about some more things that you may want to keep in a first aid kit that could keep you out of a little bit of trouble if you get into some. So the first thing, obviously, is Band-Aids. I have Avengers, Minnie Mouse. I like to keep mine fun, personally. Something else that you may want to keep in your first aid kit that's a little heavier duty are some gauze. Well, this one's big. This is non-stick, which is important. So if you get, a big gash on your arm or wherever you may get it, this doesn't actually stick as the blood dries underneath it, and that means it's less painful to take off later. You can also get packs of these smaller sterile gauzes. These are for things that need more than a Band-Aid, but not quite this big honkin' thing. Now, along with those, you should have some medical tape. The great thing about medical tape is it's sticky, but it's also really easy to tear. So you don't have to worry about keeping scissors in this. Just pull it off, give it a quick tear, and that's it. You don't have to worry about sharps in your first aid kit, which I try to avoid pretty much because it can add a level of danger that you don't really want involved in a first aid kit. Though you can get small safety scissors if you want to have them. Something else that I like to keep in mind are tweezers. These are great for splinters, bits of glass, if you would happen to get glass in your foot or your finger, something like that. And they're also great for eyebrows if you want to use them for that too. I also have here some Q-tips. Now, you think about using these for your ears after the shower, but these are also great for getting gunk from your phone if it gets something in one of the smaller areas, if you need to just dab something off. I like to keep some. And one thing to note is I don't have a lot of any of these things, and you don't necessarily need a lot, just enough to get you by. But I think I am going to restock mine and just keep a slightly higher volume. But again, we're just going through some of the basics today. Along with that goes alcohol wipes. You can find those in your usual standard little travel ones, but these are really important. So if you get a cut, you get a gash, something like that, you want to clean it first before covering it to avoid any possible infection. Speaking of infection, here's some antibiotic ointment. This is great. You may have also had Neosporin growing up. It's the same thing, different brands. I think this is just from CVS, nothing too fancy. I have two other tubes here which do similar but different things. This is cortisone cream. It's great for rashes, eczema, things like that. And this is your standard itch cream. I use it for bug bites. Now, something else that I like to keep in mind are Sudafed and Benadryl. They do similar things, but again, they're different. Sudafed is great for congestion, so if you have a cold, you're really stuffed up, something like that. Benadryl is great for allergies. With Benadryl, just remember, it can make you drowsy, so don't be driving, operating heavy machinery, anything like that after taking Benadryl. The best thing to do, go ahead and take a nap afterwards. I have Advil in mine and ibuprofen. You can also have acetaminophen, Tylenol, aspirin, whatever works for you. This is just what I happen to have. I like to keep a larger bottle fully stocked as opposed to the smaller just tablet packs you can get like with the Benadryl, but again, that is up to you. Something else I like to keep in mind are just some extra feminine supplies. You never know if you're going to run out. If one of your friends is using your car or comes over to your apartment or dorm, doesn't happen to have any, it's always good to just keep a few extra on hand. Here we have an ACE wrap. So this is a little bit more than what you would find in your standard first aid kit, but I think it's still important to bring up here. Now, for athletes, I'm sure that you've seen these, know how to use them, but for those of us, like myself, who aren't athletes, the most important thing to know about these is don't make them too tight. If they are too tight, they can restrict blood flow. It's not good, can end up causing more harm than the good. But these are great if you sprain your ankle or just twist it, need a little extra support. And then, of course, if it keeps bothering you, or even after just the initial thing, go ahead, contact your doctor, but these are great for a little extra support. I have weak ankles, so I like to keep one of these on me in case I twist it. I know I won't need to see a doctor for that, so I just need a little bit of extra support underneath my sock. One of the more important things to do these days is have some extra COVID supplies. So gloves are important to keep in your first aid kit regardless. If you're bleeding or if your friend's bleeding, you want to make sure that you have gloves on, or you have gloves so that anybody who's helping you doesn't get blood on them. You know, if you're helping your friend who has a cut, put these on so that their blood doesn't get on you in case you have any small cuts on your hands. It can get ugly. Just make sure you have some gloves. Along that vein, extra hand sanitizer. This one's pretty small. I just refilled it from a bigger container I have at my house, but you can get whatever scent you want. You can get something smaller than this, bigger than this, but it's a good idea to have extra hand sanitizer. And it's also a good idea to have an extra mask. You know, we go through these like crazy sometimes, especially these days, but this is good in case you forget yours, it gets damaged, it gets wet, you have somebody else in your car or your apartment who needs one. Go ahead and just keep an extra mask in your kit. So one thing that I keep in mind personally are some extra allergy meds, because I am allergic to cats and some of my friends have cats. So when I go to visit them, I always, take a couple Zyrtec with me in my first aid kit. And again, all of these things you can, add to it, take away. These are the basics, but you can adjust it to however you need to. And for those of you who are going to be going to college, a lot of the times your health services or health building will have some of this for free for you to just walk in, ask for, or just take. When I was in college, we had things like Bandaids, cough drops, like little packs of Advil. You could just walk in, take some, walk out the door, didn't even have to talk to anybody. It was great for someone who didn't want to have to go and say, "Excuse me, do you have Band-Aids?" Because I was an awkward kid. So it was nice to be able to just go in, grab what I needed, and leave. I'm not sure what COVID policies are like at different schools, but I'm sure that if you need some extra Band-Aids or Advil, go to your health services and they can probably help you out. Now, this card right here is probably the most important thing for you to keep in your wallet, your purse, your first aid kit, all of the above. This is your emergency contact and medication form. So make sure you have your name, emergency contact's name and their contact information, a list of all medications you're taking, and any medications you're allergic to. This way, if you are in an accident or you are found unresponsive somewhere, the people who come to help you, whether it be paramedics, EMTs, firefighters, what have you, they can see this, see any medications you're taking, avoid any bad drug interactions with what they may give you, and so if you are allergic to any medication, they don't give you that and potentially endanger your life. So this is really important for you to have in pretty much any form across different areas, whether it be, keep a list on your phone, just make sure you have a couple of these. And the most important thing about all this is it doesn't have to be scary, it doesn't have to be intense, it doesn't have to be a lot. This fits pretty much anywhere. I don't have a big car, my bathroom is not very large, but I can make sure I have this and it fits pretty much everywhere, and you can get all of this in here pretty easily. Now for the ACE bandages or ACE wraps, with whatever you may call them, they come in various sizes. So you don't have to get a big one like that, you can get smaller ones. This is one I just happen to have. So, as you can see, it all fits pretty neatly, and you can always buy smaller packaging than what I showed you here. This is just the things that I happen to have both in my own first aid kit and around my house. I brought some larger things just so you could see them. And with a lot of these different medications and things like that, they have their dosages listed on the packaging. And if you can't find it on the packaging, or like me, you just have some loose pills, I happen to know these are Sudafeds and I know the doses, but if you don't, the information is easy to find online. So, I hope that today you learned something new. You're able to put together a first aid kit to keep in whatever space you may need to keep it in. And as you can see, everything fits nice and neatly in here. I like to label mine, but that's just because I like to label things. So, stay safe, and we'll see you around.